Today we will be discussing blended learning in higher education. To begin this presentation, we will begin with analysis questions, introducing the topic, discussing predominant delivery approaches, discuss the predominant models, talk about the commonalities and differences, analyze the key components, discuss the challenges and successes, speak about the future of online learning, conclude our thoughts, and then end with some synthesis questions. Here you will find 3 analysis questions. Please take the time to read them, pause the video, write them down, and think about them during the presentation. Here we will be introducing the topic to blended learning in higher education. Blended learning allows for students to use synchronous and asynchronous when completing their education. Moreover, the president of Penn State University cites the conference of classroom and online education as the single greatest unrecognized trend in higher education today. Students within blended learning classrooms are able to access information through a variety of devices, while also being able to communicate with their educators face-to-face when needed. With such a range to access information, students typically can be anywhere in the world. This access allows for flexibility with learning, as students typically in higher education may be juggling a family, debt, a job, or other circumstances. With the opportunity to also communicate face-to-face, students are able to still receive the added comfort of working with someone directly with them. Now we'll be discussing the predominant delivery approach. It is mentioned that there is a demand for higher education institutes to provide for a larger and more diverse cross-section of the population, to cater for emerging patterns on educational involvement, which facilitates lifelong learning, and to include technology-based practices in the curriculum. Moreover, blended learning in higher education classes are becoming more popular with students. The 2015 New Media Consortium Horizon report explains that 1 in 10 higher education students in the U.S. were taking courses exclusively online as of 2012, and an even higher percentage, 13.3%, were combining online and face-to-face classes. Within the next couple slides, we will be talking about the predominant delivery models. Listed on this slide are 7 delivery models that can be found within an educational setting.
We will now discuss the commonalities and differences between online learning models. Station rotation, lab rotation, and individual rotation all have similar elements of integrating online and in-person learning. They are all set in a traditional classroom. The primary difference is the flexibility in when and how the learning occurs within a lab. Flipped learning integrates online learning by incorporating independent learning and the teacher as a resource. Flex learning offers more autonomy in the style of learning and is not as rigid. Lastly, a la carte integrates both online and in-class learning. However, enriched learning is online learning for most or all courses and requires minimal interaction with the teacher. Flipped classroom learning seems to be the most dominant in the blended learning environment. It integrates online learning into the curriculum while also having the added benefit of the teacher available for support.
2 key components of online learning that are emphasized in higher education. Infrastructure begins with the need to focus on the intended learner, the curriculum offered, and the context. Considerations for online learning infrastructure include planning, structural and organizational issues, the components of the system and interfaces among them, and various related issues such as human resources, decision-making, and training, according to Anderson 2008. These considerations lay out the basis requirements for online learning to happen. The infrastructure should be driven by the organization's mission, mandate, core values, technological capabilities, system architecture, and financial resources, Anderson 2008. However, it is important to keep in mind that the infrastructure can need to continue to evolve as the students, technology, and curricula change, Anderson 2008. This is where assessment works to ensure the infrastructure is working accordingly. Assessments provide information on the student, the teacher, and the overall program. They should serve to motivate, inform, and provide feedback. Therefore, to ensure the most effective results, there needs to be ongoing feedback and assessment, according to McCallum 2014. These assessments show how the student is doing, which provides feedback on the teacher or the course as a whole. Review of assessments and feedback can provide future updates and improved requirements. It is found that effective assessments and feedback does not necessarily need to include a mark, but should be timely, constructive, and model effective practices, according to McCallum 2014. Blended learning promotes the best of both assessment options. In class, providing opportunity for immediate interaction, increasing the opportunity for process assessment, and online, focusing on the real world, providing opportunity to create project or workplace-based assessments. The challenge is to provide high-quality assessments while meeting student requirements. Anderson 2008.
Blended learning within higher education offers a lot of benefits for the learner, but with any learning style, there can be some challenges as well. The benefits surrounding this learning style include a flexible learning environment by letting learners work at their own pace while still having face-to-face interaction, thus creating more accessibility to a variety of potential learners. Blended learning also helps reduce costs for not only the learner but the institute as well. Cost savings for the learner will be saved in travel costs, which in turn is eco-friendly, savings in textbooks, and other tuition costs such as parking. Savings for the institute is decreased need for classroom space and equipment and utility costs. Some challenges pertaining to blended learning is the learner has to be self-driven, as you need to manage your time wisely and handle tasks appropriately. This can be a challenge, but it also can help the learner develop great self-discipline. Additionally, learners will also need a basic understanding of technology, as new softwares and applications will be introduced. Blended learning creates more versatility within education and gives learners another option to partake in if it fits their lifestyle. Some students may think that the benefits outweigh the negatives, and it shows, as statistics is reported to be more than a quarter of higher education students, 28%, are enrolled in at least one online course.
Where is the future of online learning focused in the sector? Individuals may ask the question, what are the prospects for future online enrollment growth? Online Learning Consortium explains that a large majority of academic leaders believe that student demand for online learning is still growing. This shows that online learning in higher education is not just a fad. It is a way of making learning more accessible to students. As well, virtually all institutions with online learning offerings expect their online enrollments to increase over the coming year. This increase allows for researchers to understand that online learning in higher education is beneficial for those wanting to pursue an education while also continuing their busy schedules.
In conclusion,
blended learning has become the future of online learning. While integrating elements of brick-and-mortar successes, it is now becoming readily available in higher education institutions as a means to meet the cross-section of individual learners. Some key points to remember are the infrastructure of the curriculum and implementing an assessment process. The enrollment trends continue to increase in institutions that welcome and integrate alternative learning options.
Here you will find our 3 synthesis questions. Please pause the video if needed to further your understanding and to find your own research.